One. Hello, I am Hillary from Mama Bear Apologetics with quality quarantine videos for you and your kids. With me is
Amy Davison, also from Mama Bear Apologetics.
Elizabeth Urbanowitz from Foundation Worldview.
And Lindsay Medenwald from Mama Bear Apologetics.
Okay, now we have to all get out. Oh my gosh.
I'll be so impressed if people made it past the introductions. They're they
gosh.
went weird. The quarantine finally got to them.
Yes. So today we are introducing our puppets. So on Movie Monday, we talked about Mr. Rogers. And one of the things that Mr. Rogers did was he actually used puppets to basically deal with his feelings that he had when he was younger. He didn't know how to express himself, and so he had puppets that he would start to express. Like Daniel Tiger was extremely shy. We don't have any arms on this, but Daniel Tiger would always hide his head because he was shy, and it actually helped him work through some of those feelings. So just the idea of making hand puppets, number one, it's a fun activity to do. I think we all had fun making these.
Yep.
I've got little acorns as my eyes, and John had another. We just took what are they called? The orphan socks that the machine monster eats.
Yeah.
And so I cut up one of John's socks to give mine little hair. And we'll just talk about how each of us made them. And then we're going to talk about how we can use these with our kids during this quarantine time, that they may be able to express things or talk to puppets in a way that they can't quite express their feelings about what's going on right now and how this can actually help them. So Lindsay, how did you make yours?
So mine is really actually simple. I used Sharpies, and I took one of Jay's old socks and I added one of my daughter's JoJo bows to the top. And then I made a necklace out of, what is it called? The wire
Pipe
stuff.
cleaner?
Pipe cleaner.
Yeah, pipe cleaner, that's it. Thank you. But yeah, I just used mainly a marker, and I drew the lips, which I never wear lipstick, so it's kind of funny that my daughter wears lipstick. But yeah, it was super easy. It probably took me 15 minutes to make this guy. Her name is Lulu, and she goes to TCU.
Woohoo!
She's wearing the TCU colors, which is ironic since my husband goes to Baylor, so I'm wearing the Baylor colors. I got to support Baylor too.
TCU is amazing.
Go Bears.
And Lindsay and I found out we were there at the same. I keep talking. See, it's like when you make it, you have a hard time not talking with the puppets. But Lindsay and I found out we were at TCU at the same time at one point.
We were pretty crazy.
Yes. So, Amy, so you couldn't find a white sock, so you made one that looks like a caterpillar.
Yeah, okay, so we have this place called Urban Air. It's like one of those indoor trampoline parks that are like a medical hazard waiting to happen, but they're so much fun. Well, these socks are like ridiculous colors. So this was the only one I had, and I'm like, well, obviously this can't be a person. So I got some pipe cleaner and just poked it through. I didn't even have to cut holes. And so I made a caterpillar, and his name is Tater, and he's got little pink eyes and everything. So yeah, he's my little caterpillar sock puppet. And my kids, I made them. They wanted to play with it so bad, and I was like, no, you got to wait till I do the video, then you can have him. So they're excited for me to come home and give him Tater.
And then Elizabeth discovered
That's
that she
awesome.
doesn't have any socks that actually go past her ankles.
Yeah, so apparently all of my socks are athletic socks. I do have one pair of knee socks, but I live in Chicago, so I actually need those, so I could not cut them up. So I was looking around my house and I was like, what can I do for a puppet? And so I actually just took a gift bag and took the handles off to make arms.
Oh, cute.
And then just folded it over and put my hand inside and did some little eyes and mouth. And then I also had some gift wrap. So since I have curly hair, I wanted my puppet to have curly hair. So I did a little scissors thing, to make it all curly. And so if you don't have any socks that you can use for this, a gift bag or a paper bag is also another great option.
Yep. So, I mean, these are great to play with kids. You can make little things with them. But again, I think it would be really interesting because one of the things they show in the Mr. Rogers movie is how this man who can't talk about, it's like he's never been able to talk about his feelings, period, that he thinks it's so stupid that Mr. Rogers is talking to him with Daniel Tiger. And asking them questions. What do you think about this? And it's like when someone talks to you with a puppet, be honest. You're not looking at my face right now. You're looking at her face, aren't you? That we have this intrinsic need to look at the one who's talking to us. And I know, especially I think this can really be for anyone, if they're having negative emotions that they don't know how to express in a healthy way, that sometimes this is called externalization, that I can take whatever feelings I'm having. So if I wanted to talk about how quarantine is for me, I feel really overwhelmed. Everybody else has a lot less work, and I feel like I have more. And so, you know, this little guy, you know, she can curl up and she can be scared, or she can shake, she can she can cry.
Are you okay?
I feel overwhelmed, but it's better being with my friends. Anyways, we're just being silly here, but
Yeah.
this, I think the kind of things that kind of come out of play therapy, you think it's only for kids, but it's not. And so I like how in the movie, how the man was able to finally express his emotions to his wife for the first time after telling them to Daniel Tiger.
And this could be a great
really
way.
understood this. He really understood this because he was lonely as a child and he was bullied as a child. And using puppets, Daniel Tiger was one of the ways that he was able to cope with his loneliness and to get some of his emotions out through the puppet, right? So it's not really Mr. Rogers admitting that he's lonely. It's Daniel admitting that he's lonely.
Yep.
And that is a way that kids can really get things out that might be embarrassing or scary, and they can just talk about it without feeling like they aren't being heard or that they're not valuable. So that's back to the value thing, right?
Yeah.
These are not made in the image of God, obviously.
Yes, not made in the image of God.
But this can be even a great way for us as parents to get an insight just into what's going on in our kids' minds, because a lot of times, you know, like we see emotions expressed or we can tell something's off, but we don't exactly know what it is. Where if we can even just be in the background, like listening while they're playing, you know, like whether it's they're putting on a puppet show or they're just interacting with each other, a lot of the stuff that comes out is like what's going on inside of them. So I even, you know, when I was a teacher, I had, you know, several students who had gone through different forms of like emotional trauma. And so this is one thing their parents would do with them. They would, you know, like either they would play puppets with them and then they would get some insight, you know, into what was going on, or they would let them just play puppets, you know, like while they were cooking dinner and just gain insight like, oh my goodness, this is what just came out of the puppet's mouth. This is what's going on inside my child. So especially in this time where like, it's just such a new situation for all of us. And some of our kids might be handling it really well and others, you know, might not know what's going on. It can just be a great insight for us into like, what's going on? What can I do to love my child well during this time?
Yep.
And not just even with feelings, which is absolutely fantastic. It also can be a fun way for your kids to communicate with some of your friends. Because if your kids are like mine, they're probably Zooming with some of their classmates. And this can be a fun way for kids to even set up a little skit and record a fun little video to send to their friends, or a fun little message or something. It gives them an activity that's going to keep them busy for a little while. They got to plan it, you record it and send it out. And it's just something cute and funny that they can send to their friends as just a form of encouragement or play.
Yep.
Yep.
So that's our
idea.
Fun and Fellowship Friday idea. We really encourage you to send us your sock puppets, or what kind of puppet you create, even if it's with a gift bag.
Sorry, low
Thanks
budget
for
over here.
Bye. Bye.
See you next week.